Good afternoon, lecturers, and welcome to today's Electrotechnics N6 webinar, hosted by Macmillan and Chopin Publishers. My name is Gan Krishna. I'm the National Sales Manager at Macmillan. We are committed in supporting you, the lecturer, through all the changes in the curriculum and making the implementation easy for you in the classroom. And that is the main purpose of today's webinar. Our sales team have already visited your campuses with approved sample copies. They will be calling again in 2 weeks' time, just in case you missed them the first time around. Just some information regarding the platform we are using today. It's the GoToTraining platform. You'll be able to pose your questions. You can see the control panel on the right. You can either do that under questions or under chat. You can pose them during the presentation, and Sunil our presenter will tackle these towards the end. So a brief bio on our presenter, Sunil Chaturgun. He's got 32 years lecturing experience. He's the chief marker, member of the curriculum support team, author of a number of publications, and past national examiner for Electrotechnics N6. So we have a real subject expert presenting today, and we hope that you are going to benefit from the session. So it's over to you, Sunil. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Gan. Good afternoon, colleagues, and welcome to this webinar concerning the curriculum changes that will be implemented as from the third trimester of 2021. Please accept my apologies for not honoring the presentation last week as I was recovering from the coronavirus. Colleagues, I want to express my sincerest gratitude to you all for making time this afternoon to be part of this session, and also to those who sent in your valuable inputs concerning the series that I have written last year and in this year. In this webinar, I want to briefly review and discuss the new curriculum outcomes for Electrotechnics N6. Discuss how this affects the learning content, your academic year, and your assessment. Then show you how the TVET first book for Electrotechnics N6 will support your teaching. As you may know, the TVET curriculum for many subjects have been reviewed and updated by the Department of Higher Education and Training for implementation in this year and some in next year. Let's have a look at what these changes are for Electrotechnics N6 and how they affect your teaching. The general aims of this subject remain the same. Electrotechnics aims to provide learners with knowledge and skills used in the electrical engineering industry and to enable students to solve electrical problems and adhere to safety standards and procedures. The general aims, Electrotechnics aims to assist learners to obtain trade-specific skills, knowledge, values, and attitudes so they can demonstrate competence in the field of electricity. The specific aims of the curriculum are to equip learners with knowledge and skills to perform calculations with regards to speed control, load sharing of generators, working in parallel, and efficiency of DC machines using the direct and indirect methods. To solve three-phase examples having unbalanced star and delta connected loads, unbalanced star connected loads with a missing neutral, and RLC circuits supplied by a complex wave. To determine the voltage regulation of transformers after determining the equivalent resistance, reactance, and impedance referred to either side of the transformer to calculate the efficiency of transformers at different load conditions. To determine the magnitude of the open circuit terminal voltage of a synchronous alternator after determining the pitch factor, the distribution factor, and the turns per phase. Perform calculations with regards to parallel operation of alternators and the voltage regulation. To perform calculation with regards to synchronous motors. Determine the torque developed by induction motors and to construct and interpret circle diagrams. Perform calculations with regards to power factor correction. Solve medium transmission lines using the nominal T and the nominal pi methods. The content of this curriculum has been broken down into weighted modules with the learning content detailed and all learning outcomes now clearly numbered. Some of the modules have been reordered. The old modules 6 to 10 have been removed completely. I know that you who are offering this subject for a long time are wondering, what am I referring to when I say the old modules? I am referring to the ancient syllabus guide, which does not have a date on it, but reads at the top, Electrotechnics N631, and below that, 1 3-hour paper. This is the only syllabus guide that we have in our possession. The old module 6 was based on measuring instruments. The module 7 was on switchgear and protective devices. Module 8 on static control, analog to digital conversion. Module 9 on special characteristics of arc furnaces. And module 10 was based on installation, care, and operation of machines. Notice that with regards to the new curriculum, modules 1, 2, and 3 are now equally weighted at 15. Module 4, which comprises of synchronous machines and in three-phase induction motors, has a total weighting of 30. It is hoped that the current and future examiners will equally weight the two topics, namely synchronous machines and three-phase induction motors. In the recent examinations, if you had noticed, there were 2 questions based on synchronous machines. One on a synchronous alternator for approximately 15 marks, and one on a synchronous motor also for approximately 30 marks. Hence, either power factor correction or transmission lines was not tested. Module 5, which comprises of power factor correction and transmission lines, now has a weighting of 25. This weighting will now ensure that there will be a question based on all 7 topics. The weighting of the cognitive skills allows for approximately 20% of knowledge type questions and 80% calculation or problem solving type questions. If we add all the maximum values of each column, we get 90%. This is a mistake in the DHET's document. Let's hope that the examiner will allocate the missing 10% to a higher order calculation type question, like a case study type question. After all, this is exit level. Let's take a look at the changes that have been made to each module in more detail. The following learning outcomes are taken directly from module 1 of the old syllabus. speed control of DC motors, load sharing of generators working in parallel, efficiency testing of DC machines using the rope brake method, the Swinburne's method, and the Hopkinson back-to-back method. Learning outcomes that are no longer covered are traction, choice of motors and generators, bridge and shunt transition, dynamic braking, plugging control, regenerative braking. The following learning outcomes for Module 2 are taken directly from Module 2 of the old syllabus, complex waves. The following learning outcomes are additions to the old syllabus: unbalanced three-phase star and delta connected loads, unbalanced star connected load with a missing neutral. The following learning outcomes are taken directly from Module 3 of the old syllabus: equivalent circuit diagrams of a single-phase transformer, voltage regulation of a transformer, transformer connections, heat run tests on transformers, harmonics in transformers. The following are additions to the old syllabus: efficiency of transformers and auto transformers. Learning outcomes that are no longer covered in the new syllabus are zigzag connection and tertiary windings. The following learning outcomes are taken directly from Module 4 of the old syllabus: the EMF equation of a synchronous alternator, voltage regulation of alternators, and synchronous motors. And the following learning outcomes are addition to the old syllabus: parallel operation of alternators. The following learning outcomes are taken directly from Module 4 of the old syllabus: energy flow losses, torque calculations and maximum torque, induction motor operating as a transformer, double cage rotors, and braking. The following is an addition to the old syllabus: constructing and interpreting circle diagrams, your favorite section. The following learning outcomes are taken directly from Module 5 of the old syllabus: effects of and methods of power factor correction, power triangles before and after power factor correction and calculations, capacitor banks and ratings, synchronous motors, and synchronous condensers. And the following learning outcome is an addition to the old syllabus, which is multiple loads. The following learning outcomes are additions to the old syllabus: voltage regulation of transmission lines, efficiency of transmission lines, solving medium transmission lines using the nominal T and the nominal pi methods. The most important curriculum changes for 2021 are: the modules have now been weighted, content has been broken into detailed learning outcomes, the old modules 6 to 10 have been removed, and in the slides above, we highlighted all the topics that were either removed from each of the modules or the topics that were added to each of the modules. This is the second edition of the TVET First Electrotechnics N6 book produced by Macmillan and Tropant. This edition has been updated to align with the requirements of the new curriculum. Each module in the book matches to each module of the new 2021 syllabus. The modules and units of our book are aligned to the curriculum and use the same topics and subtopics. We are going to take a look at how our new book can help you in the classroom. Our old book, the first edition, comprised of 7 modules, and the new book has 5 modules. The syllabus guide requires that the modules on synchronous machines and induction motors form one module, namely module 4, and power factor correction together with transmission lines will form one module, namely module 5. The book is full of useful features that will help you and your learners to navigate your way through this new curriculum. Let's take a look at some of these features. Each module starts with an overview box that introduces the content to be covered in the module and lists all the learning outcomes from the curriculum. The overview box is followed by a starter activity, a classroom discussion designed to introduce learners to the content by relating it to things they already are familiar with. We have used easy to follow explanations in simple language throughout, particularly for difficult sections. The book is full of clear diagrams accompanied by legends. Graphs are clear and how they are drawn are explained in very simple language. Clear vector diagrams and circuit diagrams will be found in our book. All circuit diagrams are done on graph paper and every vector is clearly shown. Photographs help with learners' understanding and link what they are learning to the workplace. The learning content is supported with comprehensive and carefully selected worked out examples to help learners' understanding of difficult concepts and calculations. This book contains plenty worked out examples and of varied types. A summary of the content of each unit of each module is included at the end of the module, highlighting all the key points. These are excellent revision tools. Numerous activities modeled on exam type questions allow learners to practice what they are learning. Remember, the author was the examiner of this subject in the past, so is totally familiar with the requirements of a national examination paper. There are plenty definition boxes that outline important definitions to help learners with difficult terms. Language support for vocabulary and technical terms is provided in the margins to assist learners. Gray information boxes are used throughout the book to highlight the important formulae and important rules. Boxes highlighting important information and notes appear throughout the book. Each module is concluded with a summative assessment activity. These are indispensable for revision and examination preparation, and again are modeled on exam type questions. Short answers are provided at the back of the book so that students can check their work. All the keywords, vocabulary, and definitions from the book are included in a comprehensive glossary, which provides an excellent reference for the learners. The abbreviations and symbols used in the book are also listed at the back of the book for easy reference. Exam tips are included throughout this book. In our new book, we have included in our exam tip boxes how to approach certain questions, and also how to interpret certain questions, especially the very difficult ones and those that have certain hidden details. This is a practice exam. There's a practice exam which students can use for examination preparation. You'll find that in our book, the difference between mechanical and electrical degrees is clearly explained using simple drawings. In the past, all we did was gave the learners the formula, and never did we explain what the actual difference was and why we use electrical and mechanical degrees. In this book, we did not just draw the vector diagrams used to calculate voltage regulation of alternators, but instead, we explain how each vector diagram is arrived at, and it also explains how to use the vector diagram to derive the formula used to calculate EP, or the EMF per phase, which is then used to calculate the voltage regulation. There are detailed explanations with the relevant vector diagrams to show the following with regards to synchronous motors: the condition of constant excitation, varying load, and the condition of constant load, varying excitation. You are also given in the book the alternate vector diagrams to use when calculating the load angle of synchronous motors. This topic on induction motors generally poses a challenge to many educators. Our approach is simplified, and we show by using a simple energy flow diagram how the different formulae are arrived at. We also show the derivation of formulae, which are not for examination purposes, but simply to enhance understanding. This topic of an induction motor as a transformer starts by means of a simple vector diagram and circuit diagram. We then, by simple explanations, create the simplified version, and then the equivalent which learners are going to use to solve examples in the examination. This is the one I want to touch on, colleagues. This is a topic that, in my opinion, is really not taught at many campuses. For the years that I have been marking this subject, I can safely say that approximately 25% of the learners attempt this question, and very few score full marks in this question. This is the finding or observation that prompted the step-by-step approach. A simple explanation is given first, and this is then followed by a sketch showing how each vector or line segment is drawn. Then, in a table form, the book explains what each line segment represents, and finally you are given another table which helps you with the calculation of various quantities. I am optimistic that we will see more learners attempt this question in future and score full marks. Notice where the circle diagram has begun. This is simply two lines, a vertical and a horizontal line. And notice on the right-hand side of your screen where this has now finished off. In the final diagram, which you can see on your slide, we have included all three conditions, namely the conditions of maximum output, the condition of full load, and maximum torque. The book explains this entire section using easy to understand language. It explains how vector diagrams are constructed, shows the derivation of formulae, and has plenty of worked out examples to promote understanding. Again, we have carefully chosen our examples to cover various scenarios And in our exam tip boxes, we guide learners with regards to solving certain types of examples. Colleagues, this topic had in the past become a very boring section because in both of the cases, the nominal T and the nominal pi, we were always given the receiving end conditions and then asked to calculate the sending end conditions. Do you remember? So learners were memorizing these memos because the method was fixed. When I became examiner, I introduced another type of question where learners are given the sending end conditions and were then asked to determine the receiving end conditions. In our old book, we added a little more flavor to this section by including a question in which the details of the transformer supplying the line are given. Learners are now required to know that it is the secondary voltage of these transformers that is supplying the transmission line and will serve as the sending end voltage of the transmission line. The full load output of the transformer will now become the sending end power. Each method and each condition is explained in step-by-step manner and in table form. Our book has 4 fully worked out examples in this section. Each of the examples covers a different scenarios. Our comprehensive lecturer's guide includes the following: full solutions to all activities, curriculum mapping document, lesson plan template, a suggested 10-week teaching plan, teaching guidelines and useful web links, 2 class tests with memoranda and analysis grids, memorandum for the practice examination from the student's book. With regards to assessment, this subject will still be evaluated by means of 2 formal tests and a final examination. All our activities and summative assessments are modeled on exam type questions. A practice class test 1 and a practice class test 2 are provided in our lecturer's guide, including memos and analysis grids. A practice exam is provided in the student's book. The memo and the analysis grid is to be found in the lecturer's guide. There are many new features included in our new book. Guidelines for every aspect of this subject are more than adequately covered in both the student's book and the lecturer's guide. This slide summarizes the features of the TVET first electrical series. And you will notice here, colleagues, that there are many new features that you will find in our book, which will assist you and the learners. This is our new series, Electrical Trade Theory N1, N2, and N3, based on the new curriculum. Electrotechnics N4, N5, and N6, based on the new curriculum. And N3 Electrotechnology, which is still based on the old curriculum. Colleagues, I trust that you all found this session beneficial. And I once again thank you for making time to be part of this session. I'm going to hand over to Gan now, and you are more than welcome to pose any question that you might have. Thank you very much. Over to you, Gan.
Thank you, Sunil, for an in-depth and informative session. Lecturers, you now have the opportunity to pose any question you would like to Sunil, and I'm sure he'll try and do his best to answer it. If he's not able to, he can always come back to you. So please unmute yourself and go ahead and pose your question. Eric Matlapeng, please go ahead, Eric. Eric, can you hear me? You need to unmute yourself. Okay, whilst waiting for Eric to sort his audio out, we can move on to the next person. Anyone else? Even if it's not a question, just to provide some feedback in terms of what you thought of today's session, how you received it, how it's going to benefit you in the classroom. You can share some of those thoughts as well. We'd appreciate it. Kutatso Nyatela, please go ahead.
Oh, yes, thanks a lot. I just have a question for you guys. Ori, when will the book be ready to be delivered to our institutions? Because currently I have the first version of the book that has 7 chapters, and I don't know if there's any differences between this one and the new one, or is it just a matter of rearranging the sections only? And
thank you for the question.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, no, what we've done is the next round we'll be bringing the most, well, the print ready version, the one that you buy as a commercial copy. So it will be a more updated version with all the corrections attended to. So that you'll receive that. Which campus are you at?
I'm in Lephalale TVET.
Okay, so we're looking at towards the end of August.
Okay.
I'm going to put my email up. So if you don't hear from us by the end of August, will you please drop me a...
No problem. I'll definitely do that.
And then, yeah. And then, yeah, I can attend to that.
No problem.
So I'm just putting up my email now.
Thanks. I will send you the email. And another thing, can I just make a comment?
Yeah, please go ahead.
This book has been really helpful, because I think for some past 2 years I've been struggling to teach the transmission line and the circle diagram sections. These are the sections that I will normally leave to the end, and I will run away from teaching these sections until I found this book. I think this came in very, very handy. Thanks a lot.
Okay. Sunil, your comment on that? You're making life very easy for Tatso.
I was waiting for something like that. Circle diagrams is a section that, yes, you are right, will chase many educators out of the classroom.
Yes.
And would choose to leave it for the end and hope and pray that the trimester ends very soon. I'm glad that you are finding it useful.
Yes.
If you look at Electrotechnics N5, the new book from Tropan Macmillan,
yes,
that is an excellent introduction to the N6 syllabus.
Okay.
And I'm sorry I'm taking you back to N5, but I have to do that.
I'm also teaching.
In the N5, in the books that we used to use,
yes,
there were many sections that were hidden because they were so small that you could not even understand what the section was all about.
That is true.
And the new book from our new book now from Macmillan Tropant has brought those sections alive. And the examiners are going to begin to pick up that these are worthy examination questions. So you'll find that you might have been teaching Techniques N5 for the last 5-8 years. And
Yes.
where did this suddenly come about from? They were there.
Yeah.
Likewise with N6. If you remember at the beginning, I made reference to the old
Yes.
syllabus.
Mm.
Luckily for us, during the years, the examiners, together with the authors of the books, they refined that syllabus. They got rid of what was not relevant. And that is the reason as to why you'll find that we were using books that have the same topics.
Mm.
But here again, what we have done is there are certain sections, certain parts of it that we have brought now, we shed more light on it. So examiners are going to question on those new aspects. Now, please, I'm using the word new in inverted commas. They were there previously.
Mm.
But because the understanding by previous authors was slightly different, they never really highlighted these topics, these sections. Now, the new books are doing that.
That is true.
So I'm very, very glad that you are finding the book very useful. And that is why I said I'm hoping to see now that we will have more learners attempting the circle diagram and scoring full marks.
That is true. And another thing, sir, can I hijack you? Is it possible for me to have perhaps your details, because I'm also working with examinations, so I think maybe you can be very, very helpful in clarifying some of the contents that I'm getting in the new curriculums.
That's fine. Again, indicated to you, he's putting up his email address. You can send your first email, your first queries to him, and then when Gan refers that to me, you will pick my email up from there.
No problem. I will appreciate
Right,
that.
at any time.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I've put my email under chat so you can see it. It's gan.krishna@macmillaneducation.co.za. So you send me your email and I'll forward it on to Sunil and he'll respond to you directly.
No problem, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for that, for your feedback and the question as well. All right, the next person. Any further hands? Sunil, whilst we're waiting for further questions, if you just want to touch on anything, any other aspect, and then I'll pick up if there's, anything in general, if you'd like to just cover, and then I'll monitor the questions.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Earlier it was asked, what is the difference between the old book and the new book? The topics are the same. We have, during the time when the old book was being used at colleges, there were many staff members calling in to query certain issues, find out about this and find out about that. So I recorded all of this, and then we included them in the new book as special features. So the second edition that you are going to see is the most up-to-date, that will deal with any possible question concerning this particular subject.
Thanks, Sunil. There's nothing further that we need to address from the audience, so maybe we could just end the session unless there's anything further from your side, Sunil. Okay, I've got one. Kumane Hope. You've self-muted, so unmute yourself and then you can pose your question. Kumane Hope. Machi. Please unmute yourself. Right, go ahead.
Can you hear me? I've tried to unmute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Afternoon, colleagues.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mine is a comment, and again, I do have a request. To my colleague, Mr. Chadakun, thank you very much, sir, for rescuing us. We have been struggling for a long time. I guess you came at the right time as well. We are enjoying to go to the class now. However, this pandemic, it's making things a bit difficult in terms of the presentation. I think everyone will agree with me that because of the social distancing that we are practicing or exercising in the classrooms, it has directly or indirectly forced us to to work under the limited time. This subject, talking about Electrotechnics N6, it has nice calculations considering the textbook. So, but because of the time, we are failing to deliver that on the given time that we're working under. Through you, sir, I am not sure if this is the right platform. Through you, sir, and other colleagues, can you please talk to our managers from different colleges, especially regarding to the time that we are working under? I think you'll agree with me with this electrotechnics syllabus of the subject or the content of it. Because to me, I'm seeing flames in terms of time. I don't have a problem with the content, but the time. So maybe other colleges, they do have a better mechanism. So maybe they will help us. I do really thank you, Menir. May God bless you. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much, Mr. Maji, for that comment. It makes me feel very, very happy to know that I am making a difference in the TVET sector. With regards to the challenges that we are having, yes, indeed, these are serious challenges, which I'm hoping and praying will pass us by very, very soon, so normality can once again resume. I think this problem will be unique from college to college, and I would like to believe the manner in which our book, especially the second edition, is prepared and presented. We took these factors into account of minimal contact time with learners. Hence, the exam tip boxes that are given, especially with all the difficult questions, guiding the learner as to how do you interpret this question? What does this question require of me? How do I approach this question? And then step by step. You'll notice also that in the book itself, the examples are very varied. Every possible type, like you look at, I made mention earlier of transmission lines. There's the nominal T and the nominal pi working from the receiving end going to the sending end, or working from the sending end going to the receiving end. There's 4 different scenarios. All 4 scenarios are covered. Because it is done in a step-by-step method, step number 1, step number 2, I would like to believe that the new Tropant Macmillan electrical series can be considered as talking books, as if they are lecturers or educators sitting in front of a learner. That is how I tried to write the book. I hope you got what I tried to say.
Yes, I do agree with you. Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you very much, sir. I'm answered. Hopefully things will change, and then the point that you just mentioned. that it differ with the college to college. I do also understand it. Thank you.
Kudatso, your hand is still up. Have we addressed your question, or is this a new question you'd like to pose?
Yes, I just said a quick one now.
Yeah.
I was asking, is it possible that maybe you guys can give us or prepare for us some slideshows that you see, due to time, what Menia just said, it's correct. We hardly finish the syllabuses, especially N5, N6. The time frame that we have, it has never been possible to complete these syllabuses in the 7-8 weeks that we have. I think this syllabus requires a full 10 weeks or even beyond that. So is it possible that maybe you guys have some sort of slideshows that we can use on the subject as we as a teaching aid to help us deliver the subject in a better way?
I know we've got the publisher here as well. Fiona, is there anything we can do to assist lecturers, or is it time constraints that's going to be an issue? I'm not sure if she's listening, but Sunil, I know your calendar is quite full.
Yeah, no, we have not.
What can we do to assist? What can we do to assist the lecturers?
Again, right now, I think at every campus, every college, people are so much under pressure. I don't know if anyone is really going to find time now to try and come up with this, considering that the exams is basically a week away or 2 weeks away. And then you must remember, we are going to have a very awkward third trimester.
Yeah.
We don't have the final academic calendar, the new or the amended calendar yet. So I think time will really be a problem.
Right.
And I think what the colleagues need to do is just again look at the new version, and together with a lecturer's guide, and see if they can't create little venues at their campuses where the learners will work through their workbooks at their own time, and instead of coming to the educator during their off time, go to a certain room. The lecturer's guide is there. Check where they've gone wrong, mark their work, correct, fix up their work, and carry on. That might work for now as a temporary measure. Long term, maybe Tropan, maybe Macmillan can look at something. Maybe create little videos, you know, or like with recording some of these lectures and then giving it to the colleges to present. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's something for the future. And I know you are quite busy, so you're not going to have any chance now. And you are lecturing full time as well, so it doesn't free you up to do anything additional. But I think the advice using the lecture guide and allowing students to access the answers from the lecture guide will be of great benefit.
Yeah.
So during learners' time,
as a short-term measure, yes, yeah.
They can access the lecturer's guide just to mark their work and check where they've gone wrong and what have you.
No, I'm answered 100%.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
And the publisher who's attending today's session has responded that it is something that they will definitely look into in the future. So you can be rest assured that you'll get more support going forward. All right. Is there any Komane? Your hand is up. Do you have another question, or have we addressed your previous one?
Sorry, I wasn't aware that is up. I'll put it down.
That's fine, no problem. Thank you very much. Sunil, there's nothing further. No one else has anything to raise. So I think we should close off now and just say thank you very much for the great job. I think from the feedback and interaction, it's quite obvious that there's lots of support required. And I think Stropa and Macmillan, we'll see how best we can fill in those gaps. But thank you for your presentation, and just some final words from you as the lecturers prepare for exams.
Thanks very much, Ken. Thank you very much for organizing these webinars, which I'm sure our colleagues are benefiting from. But just a word to all of our colleagues. Here is an opportunity for you to source any form of help directly from the publishers and myself as the author of these books. The great thing about the series that Macmillan Tropant has put out, if you look at your screen, there are 7 books there, and all 7 have been written by one author. So you can feel free at any time to contact me directly or to work via the publishers to source any form of help. Colleagues, you also need to look at, when you go to these screening exercises, please look at the content. Look at the calculation type of questions. You'll find that there are many books that have a high theory content, but fall short on the calculation side. These books were written by a person who has accumulated over the years 32 years of teaching experience, who has served in virtually every portfolio possible concerning the development of this subject. And all of that knowledge, all of that experience has been put here. And to Tropant and Macmillan, you guys have done an excellent job. The quality of our books speak volumes for us. So colleagues, we are hoping and trusting that you are going to look at all of these books again, look at them together with the lecturer's guides. And as you develop some experience with these new books, you'll find that you will automatically be able to draw short summaries that you will make by yourself, which you'll give to learners. So instead of teaching DC machines, speed control, that now basically takes up 10, 12, 14 pages in the book, you can maybe summarize the important formula and say, look, if you get this kind of example, this is what you do. If you get this kind of example, this is what you do. So that will all come from experience. Unfortunately, I could not do that because we had to cover the entire syllabus in great detail, and we had to bring out every little aspect. The summary part that you can do, that you'll get, teach the subject using these books, the 3rd, 4th time, you'll begin to see the picture and you'll draw your own summaries. So to Tropant, Macmillan, thank you guys very much for affording me the opportunity to write these 6 books. And the publisher that I've worked with, Fiona Douglas, thank you very, very much. These books here really have been given a certain kind of touch, which you will find difficult to find in many other books. Thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you very much. Thank you all for attending, and we look forward to our next contact session. Take care and all the best for the exams.
Thank you, sir. Enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, sir.